Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today I'm taking a look at another premium Bandai kit, and this right here is the Shenlong Gundam EW, and what it looks like, it says there's Liaoya unit. I'm not necessarily sure because the Japanese down here says Taoya. So just for the sake of keeping it simple, when there's a bit of confusion about these things, I'm just going to stick with the Japanese. So from now on, it's going to be Taoya. Anyway, once again, with one of these P-Bandai releases, this video right here would not be possible without those awesome people over at BUYEE. So if you're looking for a proxy company to buy you some premium Bandai kits that you just can't get your hands on anywhere else, there's a link down there in the description, as well as the link to the Amazon listing, which I bought this from. If you're wondering how to do that, I do have a tutorial video on how to buy through BUYEE. But anyway, all of that will be down there in the description. Anyway, here we go. So moving straight into it, and right there is exactly what you get out of the box once it's snapped together with just the eye stickers as well as some panel lining. So this right here is the Shenlong Taoya without any of its equipment attached, and you might be like, that looks a little bit on the familiar side. Well, that's because this kit right here is 100% the kit that was released back in 2011. So as you can see there, Bandai 2011, when you flip that around to the other side, it says Master Grade 1 Shenlong EW, as well as Master Grade 1 Altron Gundam. So if you are wondering what makes this kit right here different from the one that came out 8 years ago, well, essentially, without its equipment, absolutely nothing. The only thing in this kit that is actually different from that kit is Runner Eye right here. This is all the parts that make up the Taoya or the Liaoya unit, depending on where you want to say that. So basically, when you put this all together, what you get is this awesome looking Taoya sword, a wire, and this gray section of the shield. So you don't even get a new section of the front shield, you just use the one that came with the original variant of the Shenlong Gundam EW. So as for the Gundam unit itself, as well as the other accessories, all identical. So as I've never actually reviewed that particular kit, for all intents and purposes, I guess this is a general review of the Master Grade 1 Shenlong Gundam, as well as the Taoya unit. So first off, there is a quick spin of what you get once you get this out of the box. Like I mentioned already, I have used the stickers on the eyes, I have used the stickers on the head cameras, which is all of the stickers. As well as that, I've done a bit of panel lining on this, but as you can see, this is a little bit of a dated Master Grade. It looks absolutely fantastic in its simplicity, I will say. But there isn't a whole lot when it comes to actual panel lines, so you will want to panel line them up or it's going to look very basic. However, this design is so clean, so streamlined, so perfect, it is absolutely mesmerizingly beautiful. Of course, that does mean if you are a classic fan of old school Gundam Wing, this isn't the TV version whatsoever. This is a Katoki redesign, and honestly, I really do love this. It looks so clean, so perfect, so good. So getting in on some of those details, it's got that old school awesome Gundam Wing style head, double V-fins, those massive ears, that huge crest on top. All in all, it just looks so cool with those Vulcans also molded in grey. I love the chest armor with that kind of Chinese armor vibe. The colors look great, the red, the yellow, the blue, they're also strong, so vivid, and really pop against each other. Round of the backpack looking pretty cool too. Fairly basic, but those little bars just above the verniers look cool. Definitely a nice addition there. Again, that super clean design does run over onto the shoulders as well, but I do have a minor gripe here. This is nothing to do with design, it's more of an articulation issue, but because this is an older style Master Grade, the shoulders only move forward like this, so they cannot move out to the back. I like to flare the shoulders on my Gunpla backwards slightly to give them more of a dynamic look, and this looks a little bit rigid. A minor gripe, but a gripe nonetheless. All that nice yet simple detail does run down onto the waist unit as well. It does keep it looking clean. It may look a little bit simple for some people, but I love that clean, crisp look. Another aspect that might not appeal to some people is those legs. From the knees down, those legs are absolutely humongous. I mean, look at that. It's all lower leg. Of course, that is a very classic Gundam Wing thing. These boys do not skip leg day, so all in all, to me, those big legs are definitely part of the charm of these particular kits. And speaking of these kits, there is the premium Bandai Altron Gundam. This, of course, is pretty much identical as well, besides the equipment and, of course, the color. Altron does come in that absolutely awesome dragon green, but I have to say I do personally prefer that classic Gundam red, blue, yellow, and white. Move him slightly out of the way. Next up for comparison, there is that classic Katoki redesign. This is the first EW kit to come out. It predates these guys by quite a bit, and you can see that it does. This is not the same awesome level of Gunpla as these Master Grade guys. Or should I say Master Grade EW guys that are based on the 2010 XXXG frame. This is what separates these awesome guys from this extremely basic and definitely more dated Gunpla kit. This, the Wing Gundam EW Verka, is not a kit that I would recommend. It's pretty cool to have it to go with these guys, but by far it's definitely not as enjoyable a build. Next up then, and also based on that G frame from I think 2000, actually I'm pretty sure it's 2011, is the Heavy Arms EW. This kit is one of the most nostalgic kits in my collection because it came out just after I moved to Japan. So this I bought as one of my first ever Master Grade new releases. Definitely not a kit without its woes. This is one of the most awkward weapons to attach and keep attached. But I can't deny I absolutely and utterly love this kit right here. Yet another one that's been in the Mecha Gaikotsu collection for quite a long time is the Master Grade Death Side EW. Another kit that's based on the G-frame, another fantastic awesome kit. And honestly, how can you not love a Jester-themed Gundam with a giant beam side? This is awesome, and I'm ashamed to admit, I still don't own the absolutely badass Death Side Hell, so I need to get my skates on and get the rest of these guys. I can't deny, these are some of the Master Grades that made me fall in love with Gunpla. Even the boxes of them to this day make me so nostalgic. Some of the first Gunpla I ever bought after moving to Japan. Love them. Next up then is Shima Pantsutalgis. So this was one of the first and worst reviews I've ever done. I'll stick a card up here in the corner so you can check those out. It's in multiple parts, it's an absolute mess, but it's kind of funny to look back on those things. Still another awesome kit, hasn't aged nearly as well as the Gundam frame ones, but still awesome. As well as these guys you're seeing right here, I do have a few more Master Grade Gundam Wing kits, and I do want to finish off the collection, so I am considering doing a bit of a video series on these kits, kind of summing up the video by pilot and the kits that you can get. If you want to see that, let me know down in the comments, leave a like, and I'll try and get to that as quickly as possible. I do have some more reviews coming up, including the Heavy Arms Custom, something I've meant to take a look at for a long time. But anyway, let's continue with this right here. Of course, the wing designs are a little bit on the stumpy side. There it is side by side with the Gorilla Hands 3.0. That is the Granddaddy Gundam, of course. That would be about average for a Master Grade. Next up, there it is side by side with F91, also a Master Grade and definitely as small as they come. And there it is side by side with Japan's favorite Gundam, the big and badass Master Grade New Gundam, Verka. And before I finish talking aesthetics, this is the sticker sheet. It is tiny, so it is just foils and eye stickers. That makes me happy, but what that does mean is the plastic underneath those foils you see on the head, those can light pipe, but on this particular kit they're just in clear, so if you want them color accurate without clear paint, then you're going to have to just use the stickers. I prefer clear parts personally. The other couple of foils are here on this, which we'll look at in a little bit. They're the Eyes of the Dragon. And as this is a P-Bandai kit, we get a big old sheet of Katoki designed water slides. So that's pretty awesome that they're water slides. It's awesome that they're those Katoki style ones, which will take you forever to apply. But there is something I miss from this. This is lacking those old fun ones that we had before in the older ones. And by that I mean these right here. These were dry transfers that you rub on with the XXXG and then the numbering of the unit. And the one for this was pretty cool. I'll pop a picture up right now. It went right across its chest, but that isn't included in this. It's a little more, I guess, classy. And by a little bit more classy, I mean these ones. Not the big gaudy writing across the chest, but I do love that writing. The last thing I'll mention aesthetically about this is a minor gripe, but it is something that will crop up. This has a very old style of nub placement, so they're right there on the surface, and these are hard to keep perfectly clean, especially these ones right here. You can barely see it there, but that one is tucked into a curve that's moving inwards, so that can be a little bit on the hard side to clean up. But then again, it's nothing awful, it's just not as good as more modern kits. This does affect some darker plastics like this right here. You can see they're right there on the surface. There are some stress marks. More modern kits would have hidden that somewhere along the side or in behind. So it's best to take a little bit of extra precaution while doing these. I did cut these out with the God Hand Nipper. The review of that is going to come soon. Don't worry, I do plan on getting it up sometime this week or next week because it took me a while to get used to it. But as for what I think about it, you're gonna have to wait. So now moving on to the accessories, and here is the Shenlong Gundam Taoya version, or Taoya unit I should say, with absolutely everything that it comes with. So what came in the standard release is the Dragon Fang, the Beam Trident, the adapter for the beam trident, 8 swappable fingers, as well as the base adapter. So what is new for this kit is the Liaoya unit sword, parts for the shield, as well as this little stand. As this is a P-Bandai kit, you might be wondering if there's any leftover parts, and this is literally it. It's just a standard back of the shield, so that is all that's left over on the runners. As for the manipulators in here, we've got that moving thumb, and the fingers are the swappable kind, so they just pop out like that. And as well as the fist you just saw, we have a pair of widespread dynamic, standard holding hands. These ones have a tab in there. And lastly, holding hands without a tab in the fingers. If you're wondering what I mean by tab, there you can see this one I'm holding has a tab in there. That one does not. And this is one great aspect about this line. All of the hands and all the fingers are the same, so it's battle brothers like Deathside, Sandrock, Heavy Arms all have the same style fingers, so that means the weapons from each of these are all compatible along the Master Grade Gundam EW line. So that is something that I absolutely love about these kits. That of course does exclude this flop right here. This has really old crappy hands, so don't get the Wing EW, get the Wing TV version. This has compatible hands with these guys. Sadly, even though it's an awesome kit, the Proto Zero does drop the ball with hand compatibility. They're slightly a little bit more dainty and don't necessarily work with the stuff perfectly. And Shima Pantsu Talgis has tiny, itty-bitty, Zex Marquee girly hands, so that doesn't work with them either. However, and you may not know this, the absolutely awesome Master Grade Seed line that has those Seed inner frames that are all the same, like the Buster Gundam here, the Blitz, the Master Grade Isle Strike Remaster, all of those, they have exactly the same hands as the Wing Boyos here. So I'll show you that these are 100% compatible with these. So that does mean this is great for simple custom kits and custom armories. This line of kits and this line of kits are some of my all-time favorite, if not my all-time favorite Master Grades. Love them. Actually, they're so compatible, I don't know which one I just took off the Buster Gundam, so the color is even identical. Pretty cool. Next up then in here we've got your standard base adapter, not too exciting. As usual, just clips to the butt and does that. Pretty simple. As for the weapons in here, we've got the absolutely awesome Dragon Head. I have to say this is one of my all-time favorite Gundam weapons. We've got a pair of flamethrowers on the side. Of course, it is based after Dragon Head, which looks so damn good. We do have some articulation on this. That, of course, is these sections that open up like that. That's 1, 2, 3 points of articulation up there. 1, yeah, just the one on the bottom. So this is a pretty cool weapon. As well as that, we have these little flappy flaps here. They can spread out like so, tuck in like that. And my only real gripe with this weapon is it only slides out ever so slightly, and I mean ever so slightly, not like that sick original one from the old TV anime that really shot out from the shoulders. I do miss that. We do have something similar on the Master Grade Altron, but I would have loved to have seen it in this Katoki redesign. As well as that though, this flips out like so for storage. So let's crack it on and see what it looks like on. So there it is attached to the back of the arm. There is the underside. There is the top. There is that pitiful extension, and that can flip up for storage just like that right there. Pretty cool. Anyway, there is a better look at what it will look like in an action pose up on your shelf with that Dragon Fang armed and ready. So this does come with the standard version of, not necessarily this premium Bandai version, and this looks sick. Next up then, here is the beam trident. This is pretty simple, but then pretty big. The shaft is one piece, this section up here is 2 pieces, and as for the beam effect, I'd give this a vigorous level of maybe 7.5. It's pretty damn decent. Of course, when that's not in use, this just pops off, has a very unique attachment point here, kind of a semicircle, and that can be stored on the back by popping off this little segment right here. That feels a bit loose, be careful not to lose that. Popping this variant into the side of the shaft, and that just sticks then in there like so. So that right there is what that looks like attached on the backpack. So that right there is essentially what the original would have came with. Of course, it would have come with this shield right here, just with this simple back that would attach into the back of the arm. But in this review, it is the Liaoya or Liaoya version. So let's check out this unit right here. So essentially the front of this shield is exactly what we saw before, all the exact same parts from the same runners, it just varies around here on the back. So of course the biggest difference is this little wire section right here. So this is just a wire contained inside of what is referred to as a varnish tube, or varnish tube. That does give it a very nice look. So this would be similar to what you would have seen before on the back of the Master Grade Gundam Mark II's legs in those little pipe segments. So it's just a little bit of cloth type material over a wire. That then comes round to the absolutely kick-ass looking saber. So what I love about this is it doesn't look like a sword you'd standardly see with a Gundam. It doesn't even look, well, remotely like a beam saber or anything like that, but it doesn't even look like a sword. It looks like a big hunk of the metal a Gundam is made out of. I can't remember what it's called in Gundam Wing. Is it Gundarium or Gundanium? I think in English it was Gundanium. But all in all, that's what it looks like. A big plank of Gundam metal. And that is sick. And without a doubt, the absolute raddest aspect about this, and I have to use the word rad because it's the only word that can sum this up, is this can do this. It might be a little hard to see against the black background there, so this will most definitely be an improvement. But anyway, so you might be like, well, this is a little bit on the long side, a little bit unwieldy. This literally reels it in. How cool is that? It doesn't reel it in a whole lot, maybe a few centimeters. But what an absolutely awesome feature. So I'll pull it out there again so you can see that twist round. So let's actually see how much this does reel in. So here's me grabbing it at the point that it's into. There is that length there. So you're cutting about half of it off. Pretty awesome. Okay, so let's try this awesome thing out in the hand first. So that means we're going to have to swap out the fingers. That awesome Gundanium sword connects into the hand here. By the way, I've never checked out Glory of Losers, so if this is not made out of Gundanium, I am sorry. Close that into the hand. That holds perfectly. The build on these guys is rock solid. Gonna have to reel her in so there isn't too much excess wire. Then lash that into that little segment, that little hole, I should say, on the side of the arm. That is sick looking. Damn, that's nice. Damn, I have to say, I am loving this right here. The color, the red, the yellow, offset against the blue on the shield really does go with the rest of the feel of the Shenlong here. I love this sword. Anyway, there is what it will look like up on the shelf in a pose with that massive Taoya or Liaoya sword, whatever you want to call it, as well as the Dragon Fang. This looks like one of the most savage and sick close combat focused Gundams I've seen in a long time. That sword is so damn cool. So cool. And paired with the Dragon Fang, absolutely awesome. So as awesome as that looks right there, there is also the option to detach it, as this is a weapon that can also be thrown. So this is the stand, which personally I feel is a little bit awkward. The base is a little bit on the small side. That could have been a little bit bigger because it does tend to topple a bit. But anyway, let's take that out of the hand. Actually, let's take it off completely because we will unreel that wire. Out that comes. Reattach that then onto the side of the arm there. And then this slots into this little cradle segment right here, like so. As you can see, it's moving off on its own, and that is because the strength of the wire here does push it. Of course, this wire itself is not strong enough to support it. It will just flop down like that. So the fight with getting this into the pose you want without it going all over the place and falling can be at times a little bit awkward. So there it is on the base, looking like it's being thrown at an enemy or swung at an enemy. And I will mention once again that this base would have benefited from, or should I say this stand would have benefited from a less narrow base because it just falls over all the time. Besides that though, it's awesome. The attachment point is your standard 3mm peg, so just take your stand of choice. To me, that is a Figma base. Always has been, and it seems like it always will be. Throw it in like that, and there you go. Problems be gone. This has a nice wide base. You can pose it whichever way you like. This, however, not great. It can be used, but it's going to do what it wants, not what you want it to do. So I recommend using a separate third-party or Figma base. Whoops, I almost forgot to mention this does come with the 1/100 Little Chang. So now moving on to the final part of the review, and of course that is the build and articulation. And the first thing, articulation, sorry. But besides that, the first thing I'll mention about these, especially this one here in the depth side, I haven't looked so far at the Sandrock, but these kits are rock solid. This is throw it at the wall, rock solid. When it comes to the build, I've dropped this on the floor, everything, nothing falls off. These are crazy good. As for the articulate, that was user error. That doesn't fall off usually. That was because I was messing around with this. But anywho, so moving from the head down as usual, we've got that standard ball here. It is a little bit on the blocked side, so the articulation on these guys is quite good, but not fantastic. You're not... Oh, you will get that head all the way around. Just watch for the ears. That is one minor complaint I do have about these, is that seam right there down the side of the head. There could have been a bit of a better design right here, so you have to make sure that's sandwiched in completely to make sure the ears are held in place. Otherwise, you could knock them off if there's a bit of a gap left. We also have a second joint down in the torso there, so that does give you a bit of a giggity, but it's mainly towards the back. But anyway, there it is all the way up and all the way down. The design here is a little bit old school. That is what keeps it nice and solid, so that means these shoulders don't move back, which means you can rotate them back a little bit like that to give it a bit more of a dynamic feel. But in general, all you get is out to the forward, out to the forward, out to the front, like that. Full spin at the upper arm. The shoulder armor is separate to the arm. That can move up like that, ever so slightly. There's it down. There's the arm all the way up at the shoulder, and that is very nice. We have that full rotation up there. Actually, we've got two rotations. We've got one here which will just move the arm, and one which will move the arm and the shoulder. Once again, a bit of old school basic here at the elbow. That is all you're going to get out of that. A little more than 90 degrees, so not bad. A basic ball joint here at the wrist, and has that weird old design that I don't like. That is that this little segment here does not clip into anything. It's just loose and held in while it's in there by the hand. That's a kind of odd kind of thing. I suppose you can see it does allow to rock around in there when the hand moves, so I guess it's not so bad. Like I mentioned before, the thumb there does have some articulation, not the fingers. Some more old school ab crunch here. We do have two joints. That's a ball joint and a ball joint. It doesn't give you a whole lot. There it is all the way to the front. There it is all the way to the back. Could be a lot worse, could be a lot better. As for the rotation there, that can rotate all the way around as so. Nothing gets in the way. We've got some double jointed side skirts, so they can move up and down at that point. They can rotate outwards. So that is a ball joint in at the waist, as well as this little kind of hinge right here, so it can move up and down with a kind of crotch giggity. The side skirt then, there it is down, there it is up. This kind of has a bit of an awkward vibe to it. So this is kind of like a ball and socket joint, but it's a little bit on the oblong side. So this is extremely tight on there until you rotate it too far, and then it can pop off. But within its normal range of motion, it's not too bad. We've got a double premium butt flap back here, so these are just standard ball joints here. Pretty similar to the ones on the side, less likely to fall off, but that does mean they kick out that way, so that shouldn't block the legs too much. Let's check that out. The joint in there is your standard joint that doesn't drop down or forward or move around in any way. It's always fixed in position there. Anyway, there is our kick all the way up to the front, so that can pass the side skirt a bit there, so not too bad. As for out to the back, this is the real test. That isn't too bad. It doesn't get too blocked at all. Now the splits, this might be a whole different story completely because those side skirts, so let's kick them out one at a time. Yeah, I thought that would come off. And out to the side. That one held on, but looks like it's falling apart a little. So technically you can get the full splits out of this, and there's polycaps inside of those joints, so that keeps them nice and firm. But realistically, you're only going to get them out about that far without knocking off the side skirts, but still pretty okay. So again, quite old school here. We don't have a full thigh rotation. That is blocked by the armor. When it's pulled out a little bit, you'll get a bit more, but it's this little lip in the armor back here that stops that from rotating. Usually they cut that now, just so you get the full rotation, but nah, they left it in on this guy. Next up then, as for that knee bend, there it is all the way, so that is quite nice right there. We do have a bit of a moving armor gimmick, so there that is one more time. The armor shifts down and up as you move the knee. Two joints inside of the ankle here. That is the top one up there. That is the bottom one down there. So let's pull off the leg to see that full functional movement. So at the ankle then, there it is all the way to the front. That's not too bad. All the way out to the back. That is better, but I wouldn't say perfect. And then we've got that side to side there. So not a whole lot. It's not going to be too dynamic on the ground. So all in all, the articulation on this guy is good, but not fantastic. Basically, you'll get the basic poses that you want, but nothing all that dynamic. But that does mean at the same time, it does keep this guy nice and solid. So I do feel good articulation with fantastic build is better than great articulation with a crappy build. So all in all, quite good. So that is it for the review, and as much as I'd love to go, this thing is absolutely and utterly fantastic, it isn't. It is quite bog standard when it comes to master grades, so that does mean that this is a silver tier. If you're not too accustomed to the channel or you forgot what that means, this is exactly what I would expect from a master grade. Now, I love master grades, they're my favorite grade, they're my favorite type of mecha model kit, so when I say it's silver tier, that's a good thing. That goes for both versions, the Shenlong, the standard version, the standard EW Shenlong, as well as this variant kit. At the end of the day, this P-Bandai is very, very nice, as it does come with those water slides designed by Kotoki, as well as that absolutely epic weapon. This is one of my favorite weapons I've ever seen with a Gundam, and one of my favorite master grade weapons so far. The reel inside the shield is awesome, the wire looks great, and that sword is one big plank of an epic sword. As for the mobile suit itself, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's so simple, streamlined, but that all just works. There's so much surface detailing, it's a very simple build. I mean, this is a one evening build right here. At the end of the day, if you ask me would I recommend this, I would say resoundingly yes. This line of kits is fantastic. They're a great place for a beginner, especially if you're getting into master grade, because they're simple and they're so effective, and they will make you happy. Sure, there's better kits out there for articulation, accessories, stuff, being the whole package, etc. But this kit pretty much does everything and does it right. Even just the boxes of these guys is a huge nostalgia trip for me. Not necessarily this one because it's just a red picture of the figure itself. But all in all, I say go for it. If you're going to go for the standard release, you can find that anywhere. But if you want this P-Bandai version right here, you don't know where to find it, then there's a link down there in the description. One to Amazon Japan, where you can add it to your BUYEE cart, and the other one is to sign up to BUYEE in case you don't have an account. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews. If you'd like to see more Gundam Wing Master Grade reviews, then hit that like button to let me know. And as always, I'll see you next time.